macro code. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to create a simple .NET MAUI app. So you can see I've opened my Visual Studio 2022. So I'm going to kickstart the project by creating a new project. Then here I'll choose the templates, so .NET MAUI. So we are going to use a template for creating projects in .NET MAUI, mainly for application in iOS, Android, Catalyst, and the rest. So I'm going to choose this one. Then if I click next, then you can see this is the location of where my projects are going. Then I can actually give the project name here. So I'll say e-commerce. So this will be my project name, e-commerce. So if I'm done with that, then I'll just click create. Then here I'm going to use .NET 8.0, which is actually on long-term support when this video was done. So if I just click create, our project will be created and it will actually give us some files that we are going to go through and see what they mean. So for those who are watching this video for the first time, please consider subscribing, like our video, and you can actually share. So as you can see, our project is has been created. So this is the .NET MAUI. So in .NET MAUI majorly means .NET multi-platform app UI is a cross-platform framework for creating a native mobile app and even desktop apps with C# and XAML. So when you see on this other end, we have the MAUI program.cs class, which is actually acts like an entry class for our project. So as you can see, we have this file, then we have the main page. So this is just like the landing page of our project. So we have also the resources folder. We have the app shell, the appshell.xaml.cs class. We have the resources folder where we'll be having our app icons, the fonts, the images, the splash screens, and the styles. Then you have the platforms. So these are the platforms that are being supported by .NET MAUI. We have the Android, iOS, Catalyst, Tizen, and Windows. Then, so this is just a simple project. So what I want us to do today is I want us to kickstart this project by actually launching, and then we will be able to see how it looks like. So I'm going to use an emulator to actually show you how this works. So we're going to launch our emulator, then we can actually launch the project and see how this goes along. So let's just kickstart with our emulator. So I'm going to launch the emulator, and as you can see, we have it here. So I can also launch the project. So let's just launch the project. Then we can see how our .NET MAUI app looks like. So for those who are watching this video for the first time, you can consider subscribing. So we'll be creating a simple e-commerce mobile app. Then we'll be also creating an API that we are going to use it to actually query and even pull records. So this is how our app looks like. So let's just wait and see. So as you can see, our app is launching. So this is our simple app that we've just created. You have not done anything. So you can see. So as you can see, our app is launching. So let's just launch our app. So there we go. So you should expect our app to launch without any modification and to actually get to the landing page welcoming us to .NET MAUI. So as you can see, this is the splash screen, and we'll be changing this as we go along. So for those who want to see how this is going to be changed, you can always watch this video. So you can see here now we have our app has launched, and this is how our app looks like. So we have the home, hello world, welcome to .NET MAUI platform app UI. So if you click on click me, it's kind of incrementing some value. So you can see it is incrementing. So you can change this particular screen. So if we go to our layout, so let me just go to the main page, and we can actually change the titles. So you can see here we have the welcome to .NET MAUI. So you can say here welcome to. So you can say here welcome to macro code. So we just change this to macro code.NET MAUI series. So if you just save, then you'll be able to see that our application changes. So you can see here, it actually changes the look. You can also change the text below. To say here, you can actually change this to say, for those who, so you can say, for those who have not subscribed, please subscribe. So if you do that, then you update. So if you save, then you'll notice that our app changes. So this is kind of the description, but you can add some text here. So for assuming you want to add another label, so you can actually copy this here and you can say subscribe. So if we just do here subscribe, then that is it. So if you open our app, you'll notice that you have the text subscribe. So this is our app. So as you can see, we have we have the source code here, and we have the splash screen. We have the app styles. So if you want to change the colors, you'll always change the colors from this particular end. So you can see these are the colors. And if you want to change to add the styles, you can always add the styles on this particular XAML file. So what I want us to do today is I want us to change our landing page. So as you can see, this is our landing page. So we're going to create an e-commerce app. So what I want us to do, let's just go back to our main page. And on our main page, I want us to remove everything. So I want us to remove everything. Then we just add the title here and we call title. Then you can say this is dashboard. So if we say dashboard, so this will be dashboard. So if you save it, you'll notice our app is now changing to dashboard. But now there's one thing I want us to do. I want us to have the navigation bar here, which is a kind of hamburger. So to do that, I want us to open the flyout menu. So if you go to app shell, you'll notice that we have shell.flyout behavior is disabled. So here I can say enabled. So I can just have flyout. So if I save it and go back to our app, so let me just save it. So if I save it and go back, so hot reload is not working. So let me just rebuild our app. I'm going to relaunch. So there I'll just say flyout, but I also want to do some changes. So we can have the background and you can always do some. So you can play around with the background and you can always check on the flyout section. So you can see when we try to launch, we have some errors here. So we are going to get away with these buttons. So I'm going to remove this. So then if we relaunch, we're expecting to see our app launching. So we should now be able to see our flyout. So there we go, our app is launching. So let's just see how that works. So that is our login screen. I mean, that is our dashboard. So let's just wait and see. So for those who are new to this channel and you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing, like our video. So you can see this is our landing page. So once we've changed this flyout behavior to flyout, so you'll be able to see the items whenever we add the new pages on this other end. So you'll be having the hamburger sign here. Then you'll be able to choose the pages. So, but now I want us to do something. I want us to create our home page. So let's just go back to our home page here. So on our main page, we're going to add some styles. Not even styles, but we need to have some content here. So I'll say content. Then you can say this content. If we close this, so we wrap it there. Then you can have our vertical layout. Then inside here, I'm going to have a stack layout. Then you can have margin. I'll have 15, 25, 25, then I can do 0. Then if we close that, so that is our layout. Then I can also have a stack layout. Horizontal option, I can do fill and expand. Then I'll also do orientation. I can do horizontal. So if we do that, then I can, now I want to add a frame here. So I'll just do frame. Then I can do padding, 0. Then I can also do background color. I can do, so my background color I can do, let me just copy this. So I need to add a color here. So I'll have this as my color. Then I can do corner radius. So we are specifying the radius. So I'll do 45. Then has a shadow, can do false. So this is my frame. So height request, I can do 40. Then I'll also have my horizontal options. I can also do fill and expand. So this one, I can now close my frame here. Then inside my frame, I can have a stack layout. Then I can do orientation. I can do horizontal. Then I can now have my colors, my images inside here to display some of the items that I want. But before that, I want us to add, I can actually add a search button, a search bar here. So I'll do that. Then I can say, I can do here margin. So I'll say 20, 10, 0, then I can do 10. Then I can do font attributes, can do font size, I can do 20. Then here I can also do, I can do placeholder. So I'll do placeholder, then I can say search item. So if I just close this here, I'll be having my search bar. And if you come to our app, you'll notice that our app is now changing to search. So what I need to do here, I can actually increase my height. So I'll say height request. So this is, I can do height request and I can do 50. Let's just see how 50 looks like. So you can see our screen looks now a bit better, and you can be able to see our search screen here. So the next thing that I want us to do is I want us to add another frame, not even the frame, but I want us to create another layout. So after this particular layout, we need to create another one. So I want us to create another one, and that will be a scroll view. So I want us to come here, then you can just say scroll view, and you can say vertical visibility, you can say never, we don't show. Then I can close it that way. Then inside our scroll view, I want us to have a stack layout. Then on our stack layout, we can have some categories. So on our screen, I want us to specify the categories of item. So here, I'll just do another stack layout. Then if I close that, then I can also do here another stack layout. Then I can say the margin is 0, 5, 0, then I can do 5. Then if I close here, inside this I can have a label. So I'll do label. Then I can say font attributes, I can do bold. So we can even bold our search here. So you'll say font attributes, then you can bold. So I'll just do bold. Then on this particular area, I can also do font size. I can do here 18. Then I can also do text. So text here I'll do categories. So I'll say categories. So this is where we want to have our categories of items. Then you can say text color. I can say here black. So here we can call it item. You can say item categories. So this will now give us some. So if we close this will give us some options of actually categorizing our items. So if you go back to our, so you can see we have our item categories here. So this is now how our item categories looks like. So what I want us to do, you can see it is a bit kind of, so I want us to also, maybe we can have a margin. So let's just come here, then we can, so I want us to have, so let's just see. So this one, you see this stack layout, we need to have all this scroll view here. We can have it inside, we need to have it inside here. So if we add it there, then update our app, you should notice that this particular item categories will move down a bit. So let's just save. So we now have our item. So this stack layout is even with our scroll view. So this is how now our app looks like. So I want also to add, let's say we can have a margin here. We say 20. So it should push that down. So you see we have the item categories. But now we need to have these item categories as a list here. But I want it to be horizontally. So how do we add it? So on our scroll view, just inside the scroll view, I want us to have, so I want us to have within this stack layout, I want us to have here, so let me just push this to the right, push this to the right, push it again. So this is the label. So down just below the label, I want us to have another, so I want us to have another stack layout. So it'll say stack layout, and you can close it. Then you can deal with the properties here. So it'll say margin. So I'll put in some margin, say 0, 20, 0, 20. Then I can also put in the height. I'll say 90. Then I can also put in the orientation. So here our orientation will be horizontal. So if we have that, then we can close it. So then within this stack layout, we can have a collection view. So I'll say collection view. Then we can say item source. We need now to item source. We need to specify where our items will be coming from. And then we can close this particular collection view. So in this collection view, just after the collection view, I'll show you how we are going to add these particular items. So let me just zoom this, move this down. So on this collection view, we can do collection view, then dot item template. So we can say item. So this should be dot item template. Then we can close it. Then here we can now do, so let me zoom this. We can do linear. You can say just within this item template. This should be item layout, not template, item layout. Then you can say here linear items layout. Then you can say item space, can do 10, and you can also do orientation. You can do here horizontal. Then we can now close this particular item layout. So once we are done with that item layout, down here we can now do collection view, then dot item template. So this should be item template. Then once we close this, we can now come here. Then you can say data template. We close that. Then inside our data template, we can now add a stack layout. So this stack layout, we can close it. Then we can come back here. Then you can say frame. We are now adding another frame. So here on this frame, let me just scroll it this side. So on this frame, I want us to add some margin as well. So we'll say margin. Then we can do, let me scroll up. We can do 1, 15. Can do 1, 5. Then you can say 10, then 5. Then then you can add another style here. Say padding is 0. You can also add another one. So it say has shadow. We have these as false. We can actually add a shadow here. Then you can also add height request. So our height request will be, let's do 60. Then you can also have, what else? You can say width request. You can do 60. Then another one is we can do is clipped to bounce. We can do false. So once we have that, we can now close. This. Sorry. So we can now close this particular frame. So this is now our frame. And once we have this frame, I want us to add something just after this particular. So this is a frame. So we can add an image here. So that we can add an image here just after this. So we can say image. Then we can say margin. So let me just stop the app so that it doesn't. So we can say here margin. Then here we can do 15. Then you can say aspect is aspect fill. This is we can do aspect fit. Yes. Then we can also say here horizontal options. We can do center and expand. Then the source of the image. So source of the image, we need to add the image there. Then also we need vertical options. So we'll do here center and expand as well. So this is now how it looks. Then we can close this. So I'll just do that and that's closed. Then down here, just after the frame, we can now do, so let me try to zoom that in a bit. So we can now do here label. So I'll just do label. Then we can do font size. Font size of our label will be 12. Then we can say horizontal options. We can do center. So then we can also have the text. So this text will be pulling it from the API. So this is now the text for the categories of our items. We can also have the text color. So for the text color, I'll just do black. So I'll just do black. Then I can also have, I can actually close this here. So we now have our labels and we have our images. So the next thing that I want us now to do is to define the values of our collection. So remember when you are doing collections here, we said item source. So we need to define the source of those items. So one thing first, so we need to create a folder called So let's create a folder called view models. So that is where we'll be having our view models. So that is my folder called view models. Then I'm going to create a view model for main page. So I usually like to copy the name of the page. Then just when adding a new class, I'll just say main page, then add the word view model. So that will help me to actually differentiate. So I now have my view model. So this is my public. So I'll just do public class view model. So on this view model, I want us to now check some items here. So one thing that I want us to do is I want us to create a collection of categories. So here I'll just do item property. So I'll just do item property changed. So if I just do this, I notify property change. So I should actually import. So there is one thing that I want us to even do before doing this. So let's install some NuGets. So I'll right click, then manage NuGet packages. So I want us to install some NuGets here. So I'm going to install community toolkit. So if we just type in community toolkit, then you'll know there is this community toolkit MVVM. So try to install that. So when you install that, you'll be able to have our community toolkit install. Then there's another one that I want us to install is MVVM helpers. So just do MVVM helpers, then search that, then you should be able to install. So once we have, so this is the one that we need to install, refactored MVVM helpers. So install that one, then we should be good to install. Now, I want us to, before even doing anything, let's just go back to our folder. I want us to create a folder here called local, so call it local base class, base view model. Let's just call it local base view model. So on this local base view model, we'll just do public. So we'll be having, so here then we can do I notify property changed. So you see that I notify property changed. So once you do I notify property changed, I want us to add something on this particular class. So on this particular class, I want us to add this line of code. So we have this I notify the property change, then you can have our event here. So this is what I want us to add. You can also add this particular line of code. So you can have this. So we have set property. So we have this code here. So you can actually add these lines of code. So for those who are watching, so you can just pause there and you can add this line of code here. So what I want us now to do is I want us now to go to, we can even add so let's add also our constructor here. So I'll just do CTO, then we can add our constructor there. So this local base view model, we'll be now reusing it on our main page view model. So you can see this is, we've actually inherited the properties there. So the next thing that I want us to do here is I want us to, let's just add the constructor. So our main page, then we need to have our collection. So here we'll define our collection. So I'll just do public. Then you can say observable range collection. Then we need to have our property for categories. Then I'll just say categories here. So here I'll say item categories, and these will be get set. So since we have the item categories, we need to define the model. So the model that we need here is for the category of items. So I'm going to create another folder called models. So this is where we'll be having our models. So on this particular folder, I'm going also to create a class, a model called item category. So here I'll say item category, category. So item category. So once we have item category, so I'll just do here public. So here will be public. Then I'll just do here public. Then you can do, one thing is we need to define the name of the category. We also need to define, so let me zoom this in. So we also need to define the link. So we can say maybe the image of the category. And I think these are the main key items. And you can also define maybe we can have the ID. So let's just have the ID. So this will be int, then you can say ID. So this item category will now form part of the collection here. So this is our collection. So we'll be using this item category model. So if we do that, then we'll be having now our item categories. So, but before even doing anything, we need to create a way of how we can pre-populate these categories. So I'll just do public void, then I can say load item categories. So if we do that, this is so we need to load our item categories here. So how do we do that? So when we call this a load item categories, we can always clear anything that is here. So you can say clear. So if we do clear, then those items are cleared and we can always add other items. So I'm going to say, so I want us to create a list of items. So I'll just have here, so I'll say public, so I'll say public I list, then I can say item categories, then I can do that. So I can say categories. So once I have that, then I'll come here and say categories dot add. So I can add, then I'll say new item category, then that will give me my one of the item category. So we can now define here and say name of the item category. These are some of the categories of our items. So you can group them as men. Then you can have our image. So this is, we need a comma here. So then you can have image. We can have image, then you can say equals to. So we need our image of the item. So you can say, we can actually have the icons. So you can say men's, then shoe. So this is some of the images that we need. So these are some of the categories. So I'll do also another one, and I can say women. So this is a women category. Then we can say here we can say women. So you can say women shoe. So this is men's shoe, men's shoe. Then this is women shoe. You can say women's shoe. So then we can add another one here called, so we can add another one here called, we can say devices. Then you can have an image called devices. So we can have another one called gadgets. So assuming we have the categories for gadgets. So I'll say gadgets. Then our image is headphone. So once we have that, then we need to add this to our collection. So how do we do that? So I'm going to say here, so our collection here will be, so we need to have this, and we can say our category is equals to new observable range collection. Then you can say categories dot. So we can actually, instead of doing that, we can just say new observable collection, then we can add this. So this will now add our items. So then we can always reload them here. So if we just do that, then it will reload all our collection of items. But now I'll want us to now avail those icons. So I'm going to copy the icons. So let me just copy. So for those who want to access the code, you can always claim the code using the source code below, using the link below, and you can always get the code. So let me just copy the icon. So I've copied my images. So as you can see, I have these icons. So I have icons men shoe. So you can choose. So this is the image. Then you have the shoe. So we can choose one of the. So if we come back here, we have the shoe. Where is it? So let me just see if we have any icon called shoe. So I'm looking for that particular icon. So we have our headphone. We have yeah. So let's just see. So then you have the devices. So these are our devices. Then you have the gadgets. You have the headphone. So what I want us to do now, if we go back to our page, let's go back to our main page. Then under item source, I'll just be doing binding. So I'll be doing binding. Then I have my collection. Then I can actually do here two-way. I'll say mode. Then we can say two-way. So then once we have that, we now have our label. So on our label, we need to ensure that we are now using the text that we had done on our main page. You see these names? So that is what we should be pre-populating on our labels. So since our item is binding the collection, then the next thing that we need to do here is we just go back to our main page. Where is it? So our main page, the binding here, we do binding, then we can just do name. So then on the image, we also do binding. Then we give the image name. So we just do image. So you should be able to see the image and the name. So if we launch our app, we should now be able to see our collection of items, which is all these items, the men, women, devices, and headphones. Then it should actually, so there's one thing that we've not done. Sorry, guys. So let's just stop the app. Yeah, it has not even executed. So let's just do something. I want us to first go back to our main page, and we need to register our view model here. So I'm going to do something here. So what we need to do is we need to register our view model. So on our main page, let's just go here and do public, then view model, then we say VM. So we need to import this. So I'm going to import this. Then here I'll be doing this dot binding context. Then I can say equals to VM. Then I can say equals to new. That is it. So I've rebuilt my project. So as you can see, everything looks okay. So I want to confirm we have our women shoe here. So I'll just ensure that we have the correct thing here. So I'll just do women. So I'll do women shoe. Then we need to have men shoe. So we need to have men underscore shoe. Men underscore shoe. So once we have this, let's just try to launch our app and see if we can have these items pre-populated. So we intend to have our collection of items, that is the item categories, pre-populated on our mobile app. So that will define what we intend to have on our today's video. And we are going to leave it there to ensure that we have just created something and we have loaded items on our view. So we are using MVVM technique, that is a pattern, to ensure that we are doing this. So if you're following this video and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and like the video. So let's just launch our app and see if everything works well. So you notice 90% of you guys are watching our videos and you've not subscribed. Please consider subscribing, like our video, and even if you need the source code, you can use the link down below to claim the source code and even buy us coffee if you want to buy us coffee. So let's just wait and see how our app looks like. So our app is launching, as you can see. So let's just wait and see. So there we go. So let's just see if our landing page contain now images and even, so you can see there is something that has gone wrong. So we have our item categories. So let's just remove this. So here I'm going to remove this. And here I'll just, so let's just relaunch and see. So we had a breakpoint here. So let's remove the items categories.clear and try to relaunch it. So there we go, our app is launching. So let's just wait and see. So that is our splash screen. So we'll be going and defining this splash screen. So there's one thing that we need to do, yes. So I see where the challenge is. So let's just return our item.categories.clear. So what we need to do, I want us to copy this line of code here. And we can actually, let's just do this. You can actually come here and you can do this. .NET, that is new observable range collection item category, then have that as empty. We initialize, then we'll do item categories here. Then we can say add range. So instead of even clearing, we can remove this and we can say add range. Then add range, we specify the items. So we'll just pass the items here and that will work. So let's now try to launch. So we need to initialize this here so that whenever we are doing anything. And another thing that we need to do, let me just check categories. Where is it? So this is the list of categories. So we'll just do here again. We need to initialize this list. So we'll say categories equals to, I'll do here list of that. So we need to initialize that. So let me just have this way. So let's just relaunch and see if everything goes on well. So if this doesn't add, that means we have a problem with our list here. So let's just launch and see. So there we go, our app is launching. So there we go, that is our breakpoint. So you can see object reference not set to an instance of an object. So that means, so we need to initialize this particular. So you can do this as list. Then I'm going to say here, this one equals to new list. So you can say list of items there. So this should work. So let's just let's now relaunch. So this one will now initialize, then we can add the items. So let's just launch again and see. So there we go, our app is launching. And we should now get to the dashboard. So if we get to the dashboard, so there we go. So you can see we now on the dashboard and we have our items. So we have the men categories, the women categories, the devices, and the gadgets. So we've added these particular items. So you can add more of these categories in case we want them. Then we can always pre-populate them and see how it looks. So I'm going to leave it there for today for this particular video. So for those who are new to this channel, consider subscribing, and we'll be doing this series. So that is it for today, and see you in our next video. Bye.